Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. I'm sure, like me, a lot of you out there have been following what's been going on in Uvalde, Texas, ever since the school massacre that police contributed to through their cowardice. If you're not familiar, there was a school shooter. The police arrived on the scene before he even shot anyone, confronted him, or at least made contact with him, but then chose not to confront him because he had a rifle and it was dangerous, and therefore allowed him to go through the school and do what he did. As far as I'm concerned, the cops are almost as accountable for the deaths of these children as the asshole that actually did it, because they had the power and the duty to stop it, and they did not because of their own sense of self-preservation and how they weren't willing to take risk. They waited outside with hundreds of police officers for over an hour while kids were calling in the 911 saying people had been shot, there were people bleeding, there were people injured, and they just stood out there. And this is one of the most disgusting acts I've ever seen. It's a perfect example of how pathetic police have become in this country, and I don't understand why people lick their boots so much, especially people on the right who don't have a great trust of authority, yet still they will worship at the altar of police officers. So we've all seen this happen. We know what happened, and we've all thought, well, surely they're going to be held accountable. Well, there's been one more step recently, and this wasn't that recent, it was like a week or so ago, that shows they are not going to be held accountable. In fact, when the cases were sent up to the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, which is the state agency that is supposed to regulate and discipline police officers, it's a state agency that is supposed to have purview over law enforcement and make sure they're doing their job. Well, after they received the complaints and the reports on what happened, they basically had come out and say, yeah, this is horrible, but guess what? We don't have any power to do anything about this. We're a paper tiger. We actually have no regulatory power whatsoever. All we can do is basically rubber stamp things, like if an officer gets arrested for a felony and put in jail, we can rubber stamp the fact that his license is removed. But as far as actually holding police officers accountable for bad actions, they cannot, because they have no power, because of the arrangements of the state and the unions, etc., the agreements they've made. This is basically just a puppet division to make it look like there's accountability when there isn't. And if this doesn't sicken everybody out there, that these cowardly pieces of shit that allowed these kids to be slaughtered can't even be punished by the agency that's supposed to regulate them, that shows you there's something wrong in this country. Stop worshiping the fucking police. They're a racket. It is them against us. They don't care about us. If they don't care about a bunch of children calling 911 while they stand outside doing nothing because it's dangerous to go in, then do you think they care about you? No, they don't. They are a private standing army for the powers that be. They are not regulated. Unions control everything about police departments. And I don't think police should even have a union. They should be part of a civil servant union, if anything. No special union for them. It's a fucking racket. It's mafia, basically. So if you were holding out hope that the Uvalde officers are actually going to be held accountable by the state or the agencies or anything like that, they're not. They themselves admit we have no power. We're not here to really regulate the police. We're just here to act like someone is watching over them. So if that hasn't ticked people off, I don't know what will. If that doesn't show you why you should not be worshiping at the altar of law enforcement, because they do not deserve it. They are not there for our benefit. They are there to do two things: collect revenue and control the population. Nowhere do they even consider themselves obligated to protect the population. They still do have a duty to protect. I know a lot of people think the Supreme Court said they don't have a duty to protect. No, the Supreme Court said they don't have an obligation to be successful in protecting you, basically. Saying that if something bad happens and they're not there, you can't hold them accountable for not being there. Or if something bad happens and they try to save you and they fail, you can't hold them accountable for failing. But their mission statement, their duty, is supposed to be to serve and protect. But they have gotten so far away from that these days. They are no longer a civilian force of civilian officers that are meant to enforce the law and protect the people. They are there, like I said, to do two things: collect money through tickets and citations, and to maintain the status quo for those in power. And if you can't see that with this admission and with what happened there in Uvalde, this is the perfect example of everything that's wrong. And yet some people continue to ignore it. And I don't see how you can. If you're someone right now flying a thin blue line sticker somewhere or a flag or whatever, shame on you. Shame. Because people like you that allow cops to get away with this shit and to be what they are today, you all are why they are that way. Because they know there's a certain amount of the population that no matter what, they're going to sing their praises and support them and shout down anyone else that calls out anything wrong they do. So stop it. Start holding them accountable. They're not going to hold themselves accountable. That's obvious. The only way these officers in Uvalde are ever going to be held accountable is by what the public does to them. Running them out of town, basically. Slandering their name. It's not even slander, it's true. Speaking the truth about them, exposing them for what they are, and like I said, up to running them out of town. I would make sure if I was someone in Texas, I'd make sure these people never worked in another police department ever without being harassed constantly. I would. If I'd lost a child, imagine what you'd be doing if you'd lost a child. But my whole point here is stop enabling these people. These people have no oversight. They have no care for us. They are just a private standing army that serves the status quo. And as long as you keep licking their boots, that's never going to change. All right, with that being said, I want to say one more thing here today. I have begun a fundraiser to benefit Fur Friends Animal Rescue and one other little agency that we're also going to raise a little money for, but mainly for Fur Friends Animal Rescue. Right now, after the pandemic, people are turning pets in at record rates. People are abandoning their responsibilities to their little family members, as far as I'm concerned, and these are disgusting people. They got dogs and cats to keep them company during the pandemic and the isolation. And then as soon as they have to go back to work and these puppies and kittens and whatever become, a little bit of a hassle, they turn them back into the shelters. Unfortunately, a lot of shelters during the pandemic, because they needed to get rid of the dogs, they lowered their standards. Like they didn't make sure people could take care of the dogs after the pandemic was over. They just wanted to move the product, basically, to get them into homes. And that's coming back to bite them in the ass right now. And it's especially biting organizations like Fur Friends that are no-kill organizations that never changed their policies. They still, even during the pandemic, if you didn't have the ability to care for a dog properly when you were working regularly, they didn't let you have a dog. And there's a good reason why they're very picky about who they let have dogs. If you don't believe me, look at the story about the guy who turned in the pit bull after he'd had it for a year and abused it and neglected it and then brought it back. It would have been hard for me not to strangle that guy right there on the spot if I'd have been one of the people working the shelter. But people like that exist, so that's why they don't let people like that adopt dogs. But like I said, I wanted to do a fundraiser for them because right now things are really rough. They're way in debt because of how many dogs they've been taking in. They've been trying to take in more dogs than ever because shelters that actually do kill dogs, that used to kill like 5 or 7 a day, are doing up to 50 a day now because there's so many animals being turned in. And organizations like Fur Friends are trying to step up and save these animals. They told me a horrible story about how someone had called them and said, hey, can you take, I think it was 7 or 8, a little bit more than that, pit mixed dogs, puppies. And they said, hey, we don't have placement for them right now. We don't have enough foster parents, which is another thing they need. If you're not a foster parent, be one if you can. We don't have enough foster parents right now. I'll see what I can do. But they went and they looked and they said, well, we found a place we can put them in. They really went out of their way to try to find a place to put them. Called back the next day, the dogs had been put down. I mean, that's heartbreaking. But that's what's happening now. So like I said, we're doing a fundraiser here. And what I'm going to do is, so that I can keep track of who donated, I've set up to where you can buy stickers. These are for your car window, for your safe, wherever you want to put them. They're indoor, outdoor vinyl stickers. They're die cut. And there's 3 designs. There's the corporal, the K9 unit corporal, K9 unit sergeant, and K9 unit captain. And yes, I know the prices on these are high for stickers, but keep in mind, they cost over $5 each to just have them made, and then another $1 or $2 to ship them. So can't exactly do them super cheap. But you're not actually buying a sticker anyway. When you donate $15, you're not buying a sticker. You're donating $15. Well, you're donating $10. $5's paying for the sticker. And then you're also going to get an entry into a drawing, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But like I said, there's 3 levels of stickers you can buy. $15, $25, $50. You're not really buying stickers. You're donating to the cause. But then I'll have a list of everyone who bought a sticker. And for every corporal sticker you buy, you get 1 entry into a drawing. For every sergeant sticker you buy, you get 2 entries into the same drawing. And for every captain's sticker you buy, you get 5 entries into the drawing. Then at the end of the fundraiser, I'm going to do a drawing. And one lucky person is going to get a gift certificate for $800 to the retailer of their choice. Something like maybe Grab a Gun. Or wherever you want to spend it. Don't care. But like I said, that will be at the end. So basically, you're just donating to a very good cause. You're getting a little sticker as a thank you so that I can keep track of what's going on. And like I said, you'll be entered into the drawing for the $800 gift certificate, maybe to Grab a Gun, wherever you want it though, at the end of the fundraiser. So please go over to my website, tympistolproject.com. There's a part on the page right there. I think it's the second thing down on the page where you can go over and you can purchase. Please purchase however many you want, however many you can. There's no limit to how many entries you can get, and there's no limit to how much you can give because it's desperately needed right now. So please go over, donate to Fur Friends Animal Rescue. Try to save some animals. We're trying so hard right now because it is really heartbreaking. If you pay attention to what's going on right now with unwanted pets and dehomed pets, it's tragic and it's really hard to go on when you see stuff like this, but it's times like this we have to work even harder and give even more. So I do what I can. Hopefully you'll do what you can. Don't feel bad if you can't do anything. You know, like I always say, I'm not a televangelist. I'm not making you give till you lose your house. Just do what you can, please. Go over, donate, get one of these stickers and get yourself an entry into the drawing. And then shortly we'll pick a winner. And in the end, all of us are winners because if we help save an animal's life, how much better of a thing could you do that day? So like I said, everyone will be a winner. Everybody will get a little sticker for their troubles. And there'll be one lucky winner at the end that gets that gift certificate. And with that being said, I am finished for the day. Thank you for coming. I do appreciate it. And I can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Until then, I just want to remind everyone out there to always carry and stay safe until I see you again. Damn it. I am a grown-ass man.